There are moments in life when the air feels different, when the world seems to pause for just a heartbeat, and you sense that something is about to change. Maybe you've felt it lately, a gentle stirring in your spirit, a quiet whisper that keeps echoing in your heart. You find yourself thinking about someone from your past, someone whose presence once shaped your days and whose absence left a space you never quite managed to fill. You wonder if it's just nostalgia, or if there's something more at work, something divine. Tonight, I want you to listen closely, because this is not a coincidence. God is speaking to you, and the message is clear: someone is coming back into your life. The question is, are you ready? You might be tempted to brush off this feeling, to tell yourself that it's just your mind playing tricks, that the past is the past and it's better left behind. But deep down, you know that some connections are too powerful to be erased by time or distance. There are bonds that survive the storms, that endure the silence, that wait patiently for the right season to bloom again. Maybe you've tried to move on, to close the chapter, to convince yourself that you're better off without them. But every so often, their memory returns, unexpected, uninvited, yet strangely comforting. It's as if the universe is gently nudging you, reminding you that some stories are not finished yet. You see, God works in ways we cannot always understand. He weaves together the threads of our lives with a wisdom that sees beyond our pain, our mistakes, and our regrets. Sometimes, He allows separation not as a punishment, but as preparation. He knows what you need to learn, what you need to heal, and what you need to become before you can truly receive the blessing He has in store. The person you're thinking of, the one who left, or the one you had to let go, may have been on their own journey, learning their own lessons, growing in ways you could not see. And now, as the seasons shift, God is orchestrating a reunion, a divine appointment that has been written in the secret places of your heart. But before you let hope take root, before you start imagining what could be, I want you to pause and ask yourself: are you truly ready for their return? It's easy to long for the comfort of the familiar, to crave the warmth of a love you once knew. But God is not interested in repeating the past. He is interested in redemption, in transformation, in making all things new. If someone is coming back into your life, it is not so you can relive old patterns or fall into the same traps. It is so you can step into a new chapter, one marked by healing, forgiveness, and growth. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe the thought of opening your heart again fills you with anxiety. You remember the pain, the disappointment, the words left unsaid. You wonder if you're strong enough to risk it all again. But let me tell you this: God does not bring people back into your life to break you. He brings them back to bless you, to teach you, to help you become the person you were always meant to be. Sometimes, the greatest miracles happen not when we avoid pain, but when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to trust, to believe that love can rise from the ashes. Tonight, I want you to imagine what it would feel like to see them again. Picture the moment, the surprise, the rush of emotions, the questions that flood your mind. Will you be ready to forgive? Will you be ready to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart? Will you be able to see them not as they were, but as they are now, changed, humbled, perhaps even broken in ways you never knew? And most importantly, will you be ready to show up as your truest self, unburdened by the past, open to the possibility of something new? God is preparing you for this moment. He is inviting you to let go of old wounds, to release the bitterness that has kept you stuck, to surrender the need to control how the story unfolds. He is asking you to trust Him, to believe that He can do more with your life than you ever imagined. The person who is coming back may not be perfect. They may still have flaws, still carry scars, still be on their own journey of healing. But so are you. And that's the beauty of grace: it meets us where we are, not where we wish we could be. If you're feeling a mix of hope and fear right now, that's okay. It means your heart is alive, that you still care, that you're still willing to believe in the possibility of restoration. Don't rush this process. Don't force answers or demand guarantees. Instead, lean into the uncertainty. Let it teach you patience, humility, and faith. Trust that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't make sense. Trust that He knows what you need, even when you're not sure yourself. As you wait for this person's return, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Heal the parts of you that are still hurting. Forgive the parts of you that made mistakes. Celebrate the parts of you that have grown stronger through the struggle. When the moment comes, you will be ready not because you have all the answers, but because you have learned to trust the one who does. There is a sacred anticipation that fills the space between longing and fulfillment, a quiet expectancy that whispers to your soul in the stillness of the night. You may find yourself replaying old conversations, wondering what you would say if given another chance, or imagining how it would feel to look into their eyes and see understanding, forgiveness, or even love reflected back at you. This is not just wishful thinking, it is the stirring of hope, the gentle nudge of God reminding you that your story is not over. Every tear you have shed, every prayer you have whispered, every moment you have spent searching for meaning in the silence has been seen and heard. Nothing is wasted in the hands of the one who holds your future. As you prepare for what is coming, it is important to recognize the difference between waiting passively and waiting with purpose. Passive waiting is filled with anxiety, impatience, and a sense of helplessness. It is the kind of waiting that drains your energy and leaves you feeling empty. But purposeful waiting is different. It is active, intentional, and filled with faith. It is the kind of waiting that transforms you from the inside out, that prepares you to receive the blessing God has in store. Purposeful waiting means using this time to reflect, to grow, to heal, and to align your heart with God's will. Ask yourself, what have you learned during this season of separation? Have you discovered strengths you didn't know you had? Have you faced fears that once held you captive? Have you found new passions, new dreams, or new ways to love yourself and others? Sometimes, the greatest growth happens in the seasons when we feel most alone. God uses these times to refine us, to strip away the things that no longer serve us, and to reveal the beauty that was hidden beneath the surface. If you can embrace this process, you will find that you are not the same person you were when the story began. When someone comes back into your life, it is easy to fall into old patterns, to pick up where you left off, or to expect things to be exactly as they were. But God is calling you to something higher. He is inviting you to approach this reunion with fresh eyes and an open heart. This is a new chapter, not a repeat of the old one. The lessons you have learned, the healing you have experienced, and the faith you have cultivated are all part of the foundation for what comes next. Do not be afraid to set new boundaries, to communicate your needs, or to express your truth. Healthy relationships are built on honesty, respect, and mutual growth. Forgiveness is a key that unlocks the door to restoration. Maybe there are words that were never spoken, apologies that were never offered, or wounds that have not fully healed. If you are carrying resentment, anger, or disappointment, now is the time to lay them down. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending that the pain was not real. It means choosing to release the hold that the past has on your heart. It means giving yourself and the other person the freedom to move forward without the weight of old burdens. When you forgive, you create space for new possibilities, for deeper connection, and for true healing. As you prepare for this person's return, spend time in prayer and reflection. Ask God to reveal any areas of your heart that still need healing. Invite Him to fill you with wisdom, patience, and compassion. Pray for the person who is coming back, that they too would be open to growth, change, and reconciliation. Remember that you cannot control their journey, their choices, or their readiness. All you can do is prepare your own heart and trust that God will do the rest. There is a reason this message has found you today. It is not by accident or chance. God is orchestrating something beautiful in your life, something that will bring glory to Him and joy to your heart. The waiting may be hard, the uncertainty may be uncomfortable, but the promise is worth it. Someone is coming back into your life, and when they do, you will be ready, not because you have all the answers, but because you have allowed God to prepare you in the waiting. There is a quiet strength that grows in the heart of someone who has learned to wait with hope. You may not always feel it, but every day you choose to trust, every moment you surrender your fears, you are building a foundation that cannot be shaken. The world may tell you that waiting is weakness, that you should move on, forget, or fill the emptiness with distractions. But you know better. You know that there is a purpose in the pause, a reason for the delay, and a blessing in the patience. God is not slow in keeping his promises, he is precise. He is working behind the scenes, arranging circumstances, softening hearts, and preparing the way for something greater than you could ever imagine. As you look back on your journey, you may see moments of pain, disappointment, and even failure. You may remember times when you felt abandoned, misunderstood, or unloved. But if you look closer, you will also see moments of grace, times when you were carried, comforted, and given strength to keep going. These are the fingerprints of God on your story, reminders that you have never been alone. Every setback was a setup for a comeback. Every closed door was protection. Every unanswered prayer was an invitation to trust deeper. Now, as you stand on the threshold of a new beginning, it is important to honor the journey that brought you here. Take a moment to acknowledge how far you have come. Celebrate the victories, no matter how small. Give yourself credit for the courage it took to keep believing, even when hope seemed distant. You are not the same person you were when this story began. You are wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. You have learned to lean on God, to find peace in his presence, and to trust his timing above your own. When the person from your past returns, you may be tempted to focus on what was lost, what went wrong, or what could have been. But God is inviting you to focus on what is possible now. The past cannot be changed, but the future is wide open. You have the power to choose how you will respond, how you will love, and how you will move forward. Do not let fear or regret dictate your decisions. Instead, let faith and hope guide you. It is natural to have questions. Will they be the same? Will they understand the changes you have undergone? Will they be willing to grow with you, to build something new on the foundation of what you have both learned? These are important questions, and it is okay to ask them. But do not let the uncertainty paralyze you. Trust that God will give you the wisdom you need, the words to say, and the discernment to know what is right. You do not have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to take the next step, one day at a time. As you prepare for this reunion, remember that your worth is not defined by another person's presence or absence. You are valuable, loved, and complete in Christ. Whether this person returns for a season or a lifetime, your identity remains secure. You are not waiting to be rescued or completed, you are waiting to share the fullness of who you are with someone who is ready to receive it. This is a position of strength, not desperation. Let gratitude fill your heart for the lessons learned, the growth experienced, and the love that has shaped you. Let go of the need to control the outcome, and instead, open your hands to receive whatever God has prepared. Sometimes, the greatest blessings come in unexpected ways, through people and moments we never saw coming. Be open to the surprises of grace, the miracles that unfold when you least expect them. As you continue on this journey, keep your eyes fixed on the one who holds your future. Trust that he is working all things together for your good. Believe that he is able to restore what was lost, to heal what was broken, and to bring beauty from the ashes. Someone is coming back into your life, and when they do, you will be ready, not because you have all the answers, but because you have learned to trust the one who does. There is a gentle power in the act of surrender, a quiet courage in letting go of what you cannot control. As you wait for the return of someone significant, you may feel the urge to plan every detail, to rehearse every conversation, to anticipate every possible outcome. But life, especially when guided by God, rarely unfolds according to our scripts. The most meaningful moments often arrive unannounced, catching us off guard and inviting us to respond with authenticity rather than perfection. This is the space where grace lives, where you can release your grip on the past and the future, and simply be present in the now. You may wonder what will happen when you see this person again. Will old wounds resurface, or will healing flow like a river between you? Will you recognize each other, not just by face, but by the changes that time and experience have etched into your souls? The truth is, both of you have walked separate paths, faced unique challenges, and grown in ways that may not be immediately visible. The reunion is not just about picking up where you left off, it is about meeting each other anew, with fresh eyes and open hearts. God's timing is always purposeful. Sometimes, He allows distance so that both people can grow in ways they never would have if they had stayed together. Sometimes, He brings people back together to fulfill a purpose that could not have been accomplished before. Trust that if this person is returning, it is not by accident. There is a reason, a lesson, a blessing waiting to be discovered. Your role is not to force the outcome, but to remain open, receptive, and willing to embrace whatever God has planned. As you prepare for this encounter, take time to reflect on your own journey. What have you learned about yourself in their absence? What strengths have you discovered? What weaknesses have you faced and overcome? Self-awareness is a gift that allows you to enter this new season with humility and confidence. It enables you to communicate honestly, to set healthy boundaries, and to offer grace not only to the other person but also to yourself. Forgiveness may be one of the most important gifts you can bring to this reunion. Whether you need to forgive them, yourself, or both, remember that forgiveness is not a one-time event but a process. It is the daily choice to release resentment, to let go of the need for retribution, and to trust that God is the ultimate healer of hearts. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of the past and create space for new possibilities. You allow love to flow where bitterness once lived, and you invite peace to settle where turmoil once reigned. Communication will be key as you navigate this new chapter. Be honest about your feelings, your hopes, and your fears. Listen with empathy, seeking to understand rather than to be understood. Remember that vulnerability is not weakness, it is the foundation of true connection. When you share your heart openly, you invite the other person to do the same. This is how trust is rebuilt, how intimacy is restored, and how relationships are transformed. Above all, keep your focus on God. Let Him be your guide, your comfort, and your source of wisdom. Pray for discernment, for patience, and for the courage to follow where He leads. Trust that He is working all things together for your good, even when you cannot see the full picture. Someone is coming back into your life, and when they do, you will be ready not because you have mastered every lesson, but because you have learned to walk by faith and not by sight. There is a sacredness in the space between what was and what will be, a holy ground where transformation quietly takes root. In this space, you are invited to examine your heart with honesty and compassion. What are you still holding on to that no longer serves you? Are there fears, doubts, or insecurities that have lingered in the shadows, whispering that you are not enough or that you are unworthy of a second chance? Now is the time to bring those thoughts into the light. God does not call you to perfection, He calls you to authenticity. He delights in your willingness to show up as you are, scars and all, and to trust that His grace is sufficient for every weakness. As you anticipate the return of someone significant, remember that your value is not determined by their acceptance or approval. You are already loved, already chosen, already seen by the One who created you. This truth is your anchor, your steady ground when emotions threaten to sweep you away. If you find yourself anxious about what the future holds, pause and breathe deeply. Remind yourself that you are not defined by the past, nor are you limited by it. Every day is a new opportunity to choose love, to choose forgiveness, to choose hope. The journey of reconciliation is rarely linear. There may be moments of joy and moments of discomfort, times when old wounds ache and times when laughter returns unexpectedly. Allow yourself to feel it all. Do not rush the process or demand instant resolution. Healing takes time, and trust is rebuilt one honest conversation at a time. Be patient with yourself and with the other person. Extend the same grace to them that you hope to receive. Remember, both of you are works in progress, learning and growing with each step. As you prepare for this new season, consider what you want to bring into it. What values, dreams, and intentions do you want to guide your actions? What boundaries will protect your peace and nurture your growth? It is not selfish to honor your needs, it is wise. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, clear communication, and a shared commitment to growth. Do not be afraid to speak your truth, to ask for what you need, and to listen with an open heart. There may be moments when fear tries to convince you that it is safer to stay guarded, to keep your heart locked away. But love requires risk. It asks you to step out in faith, to trust that God is with you, and to believe that something beautiful can emerge from the ashes of what was lost. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to predict the outcome. All you need is the courage to take the next step, trusting that God will meet you there. If you find yourself overwhelmed by uncertainty, return to the present moment. Notice the blessings that surround you, the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a friend, the quiet assurance of God's presence. Gratitude has the power to shift your perspective, to remind you that even in the waiting, there is goodness to be found. Let thankfulness fill your heart and guide your actions. It will sustain you through the ups and downs, the questions and the answers, the waiting and the arrival. As you continue to prepare for the return of someone important, keep your heart open to the lessons God is teaching you. Every experience, every emotion, every challenge is an opportunity to grow in faith, in love, and in wisdom. Trust that nothing is wasted, that every moment is part of a greater story being written by the author of life. Someone is coming back into your life, and when they do, you will be ready, not because you have eliminated all fear, but because you have chosen to walk forward with hope, with courage, and with a heart open to the possibilities of grace. There is a quiet anticipation that builds as you sense the nearness of change, a gentle stirring in your soul that tells you something significant is on the horizon. You may notice it in the way your thoughts drift to memories you thought you had set aside, or in the way your heart quickens at the mention of their name. This is not a sign of weakness or regression, it is evidence that your spirit is attuned to the movement of God in your life. He is preparing you for a moment of reconnection, a season where old wounds can be healed and new beginnings can take root. As you move closer to this anticipated reunion, it is important to remain grounded in your own growth. Reflect on the person you have become during this time apart. What strengths have you discovered? What lessons have you learned about love, forgiveness, and resilience? These are the treasures you carry with you into the next chapter. They are the evidence of your journey, the proof that you are not the same as you once were. Embrace this transformation, and let it give you confidence as you step into the unknown. It is natural to feel a mixture of excitement and apprehension as you consider what lies ahead. You may wonder if the other person has changed, if they are ready to meet you where you are, or if the timing is truly right. These questions are valid, and it is wise to approach them with both hope and discernment.